And
And you
I do
did.
the entrance? Did I do the entrance? I did. I did the entrance. So you can't. I'm a man of my word. I am a man of my
Facts.
word. But yes, so before we get to AEW, we're going to talk a lot about AEW and chat. We're going to encourage you to please give us your opinions when we go. We're going to break it down like a normal review, like match by match. We're going to do this. We're going to talk some little tidbits here from, because we have a lot of thoughts, and I think we have a lot of difference in opinions here, Queen.
We do. It's
going
to be a good episode.
So listen, me and Queen are the best of friends, but we will argue about certain things. I know we will. But in a good way, in a fun way.
Respectfully.
But we will, you can, listen, you can look, but you can't touch. See what I did there? It was the whole,
I loved it.
The Bellas and everything like that. But yes, we are here for a certain reason. So Queen, obviously, with all of the stuff that's going on in the world, we're in two very different. There's never been more distance than right now, I think, with what's going on in the United States versus what's going on virtually in every other westernized country, to be completely honest. Obviously, we're not going to talk too heavy of what happened last week, but what happened last week, and it was... I'll say from my perspective first, and then obviously you have a very different perspective on what's going on. But obviously what happened last week was another tragedy, and I hate saying another, and I hate to just dismiss it. I'm not being dismissive, but
I know.
How many times has this happened where it's like another thing has happened like this and nothing changes, and it's just thoughts and prayers, and it's all of this. And listen, of course, 100% we have to offer, like, we feel terrible for these families and for what happened. It's there's no words that can describe what happened or how we feel. But also, we've done this so many times. The world has done this so many times. I don't think people realize is that, yes, it's happening in the United States, but the United States is the biggest country in the world in terms of outreach. And it's the only country in the world that has to be different than everybody else. With certain laws and certain rules and certain things. And this is obviously the biggest thing is gun control. And I know it's a very touchy subject for some people, but hey, obviously we're here because of what goes on in the world. But something obviously needs to change. In this country, I'll just say it from my point of view, and I'm not saying Australia is perfect, because trust me, it is not. But I don't have to worry about going out to a shopping center or a school or work or whatever and worry about being shot. I just don't have to worry. Yes, it can happen. Of course it can happen.
Of course.
But gun control is very different here than it is in the United States. And it's very, very scary. But again, I'm not there. So there's only so much I can get around my head of like, oh, I've never experienced that in my life. We used to have the same gun laws as you guys until like 1996. There was a mass shooting of 12 people, which I know probably doesn't sound like that many in terms of what's gone on in the last however many years with the United States. But Australia said, nope, it's time to get gun control. They literally took away your guns. And we still have guns in this country, by the way. It's just much harder to obtain a firearm than the United States. But that's all I can really wrap my head around with the situation, other than just being like, what the fuck, honestly. You can swear on my channel, don't worry. But like, that's why we're here. So before Queen takes over and says what she's going to say, type !donation for details, and you can donate to the tip jar, which will go into the progress. Or if you feel to donate directly, that is completely fine. Obviously it won't go towards the goal, but just type !EveryTown and you can go directly to their website if you feel more comfortable donating directly. But I'll let Queen take over because she's probably got a whole bunch of thoughts.
I do. Firstly, I want to thank Josh, because I can't do this stuff very well. This streaming, I could do it myself, but multiple people, I don't know, for whatever reason, I can't figure it out. But I'm gonna make that my summer project. But I have to thank Josh for putting this together and being so willing to help. When I DM'd him and was like, I have to do something. I need to do something, So for those of you who don't know, I am an educator. That's what I do for my shoot job, if you will, my real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, my real life. And so obviously these school shootings hit extremely close to home because this is what I prepare for on a daily basis. There's been a lot of teachers that have been speaking out and saying things like, come and take a look at my classroom and look at all the things that I have to prepare my kids and myself for this. We have active shooter drills, and it's like multiple times a year. And there's a lot to be said about that, but I'm not here for that. What I am here for is to talk about EVERYTOWN. So EVERYTOWN is a wonderful organization. It's made up of educators, parents, kids, students, everybody together trying to go for gun reform. And being in America, those of you who are in the chat that are from America will know that the Second Amendment is an extremely political subject. What I can't wrap my mind around is why we allow politics to kill children. I can't figure that out.
By the way, I'll just chime in. It doesn't matter which side of the holy moly, we just got a $50 donation.
Hey!
I still got the Iconics going crazy. Like when I got my donation link. Thank you so much. I think I know who that was. But please make yourself known in the chat if you prefer to. You don't have to. But sorry to like butt in completely, but it worked with the donation anyway. But yeah,
amazing.
whatever side of the whatever side.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
I don't really care.
You shouldn't want that doesn't children to die.
100%. And we shouldn't ask teachers to be first responders. That's not my job.
No.
Right? That's what other people who are police officers and EMS and nurses, that's a totally different thing. Mm-hmm. I'm not trained, and nor do I want to be trained, by the way, to defend my classroom. It's not happening. And we shouldn't have to ask teachers and ask students to live with this fear all of the time. So I think that's where my and many others' frustration is coming from in this country. When so many people, like over 80% of Americans, want common sense gun laws, but our politicians don't answer and do it, it's just horrifying. And something has to happen. We can't live like this anymore. I just don't think that we should continue to watch not just school shootings, but mass shootings in general.
Yeah, everywhere.
Continue to happen, like in a supermarket or at a concert. These are not things that you should, as a human being, have to fear about in your country, in your city, in your town, in your state. It's just not normal. And I feel like it's a lot of people think that this is normal. It's not normal.
If you come to,
we're like an anomaly.
It's like, so Queen, basically, if I was to say, hey, come down to Adelaide, let's go to a concert, I don't have to tell you, just in case, like, you never know what's going to happen. There might be someone that's going to come in and shoot everybody. That's not something that I genuinely have to worry about in this country. I don't. And again, I'm not trying to brag or say that this country's better. It's not about that.
No.
But it's basic laws that should be protecting you as a human being. And
common sense.
It's not something I have to. I don't have to worry about my little brother going to school and wondering if he'll come home. Like that's not something I have to worry about. And I guess with you being an educator and with you being in that field, you also shouldn't have to be someone that worries about yourself being killed or your students, because it's not something that you train to teach kids basic forms of knowledge to get through their lives. Basically,
that's it.
Like, and
and protect them and take them outside during a fire drill. Like, I'm good. I can do that.
Yeah.
But other things that are being asked of educators and being asked of these kids is nonsense. We can make changes.
Yeah.
Background checks, safety, basic stuff. There is no way, shape, or form, in my personal opinion, that an 18-year-old kid should be able to buy that type of weapon.
Yeah, no.
And I mean it, at all. Yeah, right?
No, I agree.
That just blows my mind. Look, you want to have your guns? Cool. I just think it's crazy, right? That we have to have a license to drive a vehicle and update that all of the time, but you don't need to have training and a license and really anything in certain states to buy a weapon. Crazy to me.
And that's
So
that's
the thing that
that's
we're
the law
working
in this
towards.
country is
Right.
we can have people just think like, oh, these countries don't. No, we have firearms in this. They're not. You can't go to any place and just get them, and they're not semi-automatic rifles. They're handguns. But you can buy other types of guns, but you have to have a firearms license. Police are going into your home
Right.
every
Right.
other day. Like, I knew a friend that had
Mhm.
a gun, and you have to keep the ammunition separate from the so many meters from
Yeah.
the gun.
But like, why isn't that something that's universal? That's my question. And so many other people and organizations like EVERYTOWN, and student organizations and mom organizations and all sorts around this country that are just saying, why can't we do basic things?
Mhm.
And I know people on both sides. I know people who own weapons, and I know people who refuse. And the gun owners that I know are 100% for stricter gun control and better common sense laws. One of them said to me, I would rather jump through more hoops to do certain things than have another child die in this country because of a gunman. You know, and it's not just a problem about guns. There are so many other things that go into that.
Yeah.
But, you know, there are so many narratives being spun that just aren't right.
Yeah.
And I think it's past time that we do something about it in this country, and
100%.
our voices need to be very loud. And, you know, as someone who works with kids, I beg you to really think about how you can help. Donating to organizations that are doing the work is one great way. Another great way is to contact your congresspeople, both on your state and federal level, and tell them how you feel.
Yeah.
And let them know that it's more important that we are safe and children are safe than for people to take money from gun lobbies. So, you know, you have to make your voice heard. The cool thing about democracy, right, is that we have the power to vote.
Yes.
So that is where action needs to be taken. And organizations like EVERYTOWN are using the funds that are being raised. And so many people are donating to the big overall fund that's there. And then other celebrities have started minor ones, so you could donate through them and they will match that donation. So there's so many different ways that you can do it, which is wonderful. And, you know, I would urge you, doesn't matter if it's $1, it helps, because we need that protection. Our kids need that protection. They deserve it.
Yes.
No kid anywhere should have to worry about going to school. I'm going to cry. Okay. No kid should have to worry about going to school and worry about their safety. They should be worried about, did I turn my homework in on time?
Mm-hmm.
Is Mrs. Queen going to yell at me today?
I'll let you gather yourself for a second. I'll be the one that
Yeah.
swoops in here while you gather yourself. But this is what we're here for today. Obviously, we're going to talk about wrestling. Don't worry, we're going to get to that in just
100%.
a couple of minutes.
It's happening.
But please, again, if you want to donate, it doesn't matter if it's $1, it doesn't matter if it's $1,000, whatever you can, if you can at all, if you're in a position to do so, type !donation, and you can go straight to the link that'll set up to the designated PayPal that will go to right at that goal that's in the top left-hand corner of the screen. But if you prefer to donate directly, that's absolutely 100% fine. It obviously won't go to the goal, but you can type !EVERYTOWN, and like Queen said, EVERYTOWN helps with basically everything we just talked about. To put it in a bubble, EVERYTOWN will do the work for you in a lot of ways, and America needs to change. And internationally it works. If you want to donate to either one, you can do it so, because it does. Well, yes, this is very much an American issue. It really is.
But we need support from other countries.
Exactly, because
we need examples,
we are the examples, you know, of
right.
It works. There has not been the amount of people killed by a firearm in this country since 1996, when gun control was brought in, is less than a very small percentage of people. So it does work. And other countries like England and pretty much every other country in the Western world that isn't the United States of America, you can't fight statistics in that respect of like, this is genuinely what's happening. So we are the examples of what the United States could be, because, to be completely honest, from somebody that doesn't live there, it does make me scared to ever travel there, because
don't blame you.
I don't want to get shot. Plain and simple.
It's scary. It's really scary. But, you know, and a lot of the pattern here in this nation is where you get outraged we say something, we try,
Yeah.
and nothing happens.
Yeah.
So now needs to be the time where we just take no more bullshit, to be frank with you, and start putting pressure. We need to put massive pressure on those that are in charge and take money from these gun lobbies and organizations, and we need to get them out. Because if they put taking cash to keep their job over your kid, that should be no brain, gotta go.
Yeah. See you later. Goodbye.
We can't have that anymore. And like, I'm not trying to get political, and that's not my vibe.
No.
You do you, I do me. It's fine. But what's not fine is people dying from guns.
100%.
It doesn't need to happen. We can make fixes, and we don't need to be, like other countries. I want one step forward. That's all. Eventually we can get to what other countries have. But right now we need like a severe triage. We need severe triage.
And it needs to happen
even take
now.
A few steps forward. Yeah. Not yesterday, not tomorrow.
It needs to
right
happen now.
Because we're too late. We're too late for yesterday. We need it right now.
It should have happened a long time ago to
Amen.
avoid all of this stuff happening. But this is again.
This is why we're here.
This is why we're here donating.
Thank you.
Yes.
If you speak out to your politicians, thank you. If you just retweet this, thank you.
100%.
Anything you can do. I'm very appreciative. I know Josh very appreciative. I know Josh is an Aussie, but listen, he cares.
Yeah, I care.
And we all care. The world cares. And I wish more people would rise up in support of this.
And me and Queen have had multiple conversations about this off stream, just to each other.
Oh yeah.
In the last few years that we've known each other, because again, we're in two very different spots, and I'm sure Queen looks at something. She probably is. I'm not going to speak for you, but I could imagine you'd be like, I wish that was here so I didn't have to worry about going to my job and dying.
100%.
Pretty much
100%.
plain and simple. But exclamation point donation, if you want to donate, or exclamation point EVERYTOWN if you want to donate directly to EVERYTOWN. Now, we'll keep hyping that up as we go, but I think it's probably time to change the tone a little bit here. By the way, hello to everybody in the chat. Hello. If you've said hello and we've missed it, we're very sorry. We'll try to keep up. Queen's got the chat open as well, and I'll interrupt her like I normally do if I need to talk to the chat or if a donation comes through, because as you know, it's all happening live here on Twitch. But if you can, Twitter, please give us a retweet, Instagram stories, Facebook, Tumblr, LinkedIn, wherever you want to share it.
Pinterest,
share it.
don't care. Share it.
Pinterest, pin that on your board. Let's
on your board.
Let's is that what you do? I don't have a Pinterest account.
I have no idea.
I have no idea what to do with Pinterest. But hey, pin that on your board and we'll go from there. But please give us a retweet if you can to get more people in. We know that Raw is on in like 30 minutes, but come on, guys. We'll listen. Okay. All right. Here's something. I want to get to $200 today. I really want to. You know what I'm going to do? You can put this, you can mark my words. Remember about a year ago when I did a 10-hour Brie Bella stream when I raised money?
I remember it.
Okay, if we get to $200 today, I'll do it again.
Yes!
And we'll raise more money for EVERYTOWN.
Let's go!
If we get to $200 today, I will do it again. We'll raise money for EVERYTOWN. I'll listen to Brie Bella's song for 10 hours straight again. We'll play some games. We'll have a good time. Mark my words.
I love that.
If we it's only if we get to $200 today.
Right. You have to get to $200 today. Josh will listen to Brie Mode 10 hours on repeat. And
we'll raise even more money for EVERYTOWN.
Yes, I will support you in that endeavor.
Mm-hmm. And you know what happened to me when I went insane in that stream.
I do.
So
I will join you for some of that.
Yeah. Even Queen will come in for like an hour or so
come.
and play some games.
Oh, I really will.
Yeah.
Oh, I really will.
We'll I'm not even kidding. So if we get to $200 in this stream, I will do a 10-hour Brie Bella stream in the next week or so, whenever I can, and we will raise more money.
Here's what I'll do. I will do a full Nikki Bella cosplay.
Bitch.
And join you for at least 2 hours. And might be spread out because you know the baby, but at least 2 hours. I will come in. I will do a full cosplay.
I'll get as many people as I can.
I will get Bella
JPJ
wine.
will come in here.
I will do the whole thing.
We'll have a good time. So yeah, are you ready? So that's what,
I'm
mark
ready.
my words. Put that on Twitter, everybody. If we get to $200 in this stream, donated towards the goal, I will do another charity stream for EVERYTOWN for 10 hours, and I'll listen to Brie Bella again. We'll play some 2K22. We'll play some Mario Kart. We'll do stuff for 10 hours.
Hell yes.
I will do it.
Let's do it. I will play Mario Kart with you. I have a Switch. I'll do it.
We can play Mario Kart. We'll
we
get
got
JPJ in here. We'll get
Yep,
the boys from
JPJ.
CFG streams in here. We will do this. We will do this. All right.
Yep.
So that's all you got to do. So ! donation. Put this out on Twitter. Do what you do. All right. We're gonna start talking about AEW. So we're gonna be here for a little while, friends. So you've got a little bit of time, but just putting that out in the universe. But let's talk about Double or Nothing because we've got a lot to cover. AEW does a very good job with builds to pay-per-views because they're very infrequent. There's not a lot of AEW there's 4 or 5 a year? 4 a year? 5 a year. 4. I think it's every quarter, isn't it?
It's 4.
Yeah. So
the big 4.
There's 4 pay-per-views a year. So
and they have like a lot of like live.
Yeah, they have
like
bash
special
beach or whatever.
Beach
whatever.
Bash,
whatever. The beach
break bash,
whatever.
I have no idea what it is.
It's literally Bash at the Beach, but they can't say that because WWE own Bash at the Beach, which is whatever. Right. Is what it is. But yes, they do a lot of specials. But this is Double or Nothing to me. I know a lot of people say All Out is their big show, but for some reason, Double or Nothing, it was their first pay-per-view properly in AEW. It's always like considered like
it hits
to
different.
me. Yeah, it does. It's like, okay,
normally.
we're what, 3 years into AEW now? We're going into we've just hit 3 years of AEW. So that's pretty insane
weird.
when we think about that. But Double or Nothing is like they did a very good job with the build. Well, actually, rewind. Most of the matches they did, some were added in the last like literal couple of days before.
It felt very WWE-esque, in my opinion.
It's
like we're just gonna whoop.
It seemed like they're going, okay, let's get as many people on this card as possible because we're not doing the Battle Royal. So like, I didn't mean to shit on anyone there, but there was what, 12 matches? 13, 12, 11?
Honestly, I have no idea. I can count them real quick, but
it's not a big deal. It's something like that. It was usually they have pay-per-views with like 8, 9, roughly, maybe 10.
Hold on.
But there was too many matches. If we have to count it. There was too many.
13.
There was 13 matches. That's like not even WrestleMania has that anymore because there's 2 nights. So like 13 matches, it is a lot. That's a lot of wrestling.
It was a lot.
That's a lot of wrestling to watch in what ended up being with the buy-in included was about a 5 and a bit hour show. That's a lot. That's a lot. The press conference, went for like nearly 3 hours. That's longer than an episode of Dynamite. So that's a whole other thing that we're not even going to touch because there's so much to talk about there. Tony Khan with the, it's like things. A little bit too much, but it was a long show, but the build was, for the most part, what we expect from AEW, pretty decent. Like AEW do a pretty good job at building most stuff, but some stuff was thrown in there very,
Sure.
Casually. But I mean, we may as well just start with the first match because that had actually no. Let's talk the buy-in because we have to.
We have to. You know,
take it from here.
I don't really have too much to say because it's the buy-in, right?
Well, true.
And what I really want to say is like it's such a treat for those who love indie wrestling to see Danhausen as over it as he is. It's just
he's really over.
First of all, he's a trip. If you ever get a chance to meet him, please do.
Oh, is he fun to talk to? I could imagine he would be.
So fun. And it's so fun to see him just being himself. You know, hasn't really lost a lot of what he was on the indies. Which is super great. And how fun is it with him and Hook together?
Which I wouldn't have ever pictured, like, ever, because they're
They're so opposite, but it works perfectly.
Yeah, they're just yin and yang, and it works wonderfully. Because, listen, I'm the first person to admit I don't watch a lot of indie stuff. I don't. I watch what I watch, and it's nowhere near as much as I used to watch. But I know of certain people, and when the way I
Yep.
can tell when someone is like over in the indie scene is when I know about them, because I'm like, well, obviously I can't avoid. And I knew
Facts.
Danhausen. I knew who
Yep.
Danhausen was, and I was like, this is cool. He's a good time. Like, I get it. And then
Yeah.
obviously when he come over to AEW, I'm like, oh, cool, Danhausen. And then this last like month, I've been like, Danhausen is cool. Like,
He's so cool.
it's cool to see what I like about AEW. And this isn't going to be a stroke off AEW thing, because you know me, I'm very honest with what I like and what I don't like.
That's true.
But also, what AEW does well is that we've always been told, indie stuff doesn't work on a big stage. Indie stuff doesn't work on a big stage. You have to change it. You have to change it. You have to change it. Not necessarily. Okay, you have to make certain little tweaks and adjustments.
Sure.
Not everything's going to work on a national, global scale. I get that. But Danhausen is a perfect example of going, 99% of you is working. Let's just turn this up just a little. Let's just make this a little, like, there's just certain little elements of it that just make it work. And Danhausen is the perfect example of you can carry over whatever you were doing in front of 10 people to 10,000 people for the most part. For the most part. There's always going to be exceptions to the rule. Calm fucking down. But Danhausen he just works. You're just letting Danhausen do what he's been doing for however long he's been doing it. And it just works. And then you put him with someone like Hook, who is the complete opposite of Danhausen.
Complete. Like and silent.
Like silent, handsome, just... Hook is very... I will say something like, Hook is very... He's very Gen Z.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
The hair?
Like,
good Lord.
Like, yeah, yes. Like... As a millennial, I will not put myself in the category of Gen Z, because I'm just not Gen Z. I'm a millennial. But I will say that he is very now. He's very in.
He is very in.
It's like what their typical like 22-year-old boy looks like. If again, I could be talking out of my ass here, but he just is very he's very TikTok boy.
He's happening, and he's good too.
Yeah. He knows,
and
it
he's
too.
Different than anybody else, and that I think is very important in AEW right now, to be different.
Yes,
and to stand out in your own lane. Yeah, and my girl Tiff is in the chat, the queen of the indies, and she knows. She knows. She loves the indies, but she knows everything, about all those great people that have made to AEW or elsewhere, and just them together. Who would have thunk? And it's money. The rest of it was ridiculous, but they were great.
Okay, Smart Mark is fucking so funny. He knows what he's doing. He's in his lane, and he does it really well. His ridiculous outfit that he wore,
oh my God,
that fit, it looked like it was aluminium foil. Like, what the fuck were you wearing? It was like
aluminium foil.
You say aluminum, I know, but it's aluminium in this country.
I just like it. It's funny.
Aluminium. I know everyone's going to get at me because no one is Australian in this chat, so everyone's going to call me out. Aluminium, aluminum, or fucking what the fuck? Listen.
Oh my God.
More differences.
So funny.
Between countries. But it's he gets punching Tony's abs and then doing the big kick in the entrance. I was like, holy moly, like this is absolutely ridiculous. But he really knows what he's doing. Now, we won't break down every single move of the match. We're not here to analyze it like this, but I will say the finish was just chef's kiss. So good. The tag to Danhausen, and then Danhausen just comes in, steps on him, does his little pose, and we're off to the races.
Perfect. His perfect little, cursing and 1 foot down, and
it's
love it. Everything was great.
Everything was just good. It
was a fun little opener. Yeah. It got you hyped for the show. And then the show started, Josh.
Well, it did. Now, you speaking of not being in Gen Z, you ordered this pay-per-view the old-fashioned way, did you not?
I did. You know why? Because I cannot stand BR.
I don't have to deal with that. I have Fight.
So... I know you do, and I'm super jealous.
Fight's not flawless, though. I will say that.
No, it does have some issues, but it has a lot less issues.
Is BR? I've heard BR app has problems every other day.
Every pay-per-view I've ever gotten there has glitched, stopped. I've had to refresh it. It's been a nightmare. So I said to Mr. Q, I'm like, we're going old school, and we're buying it off my television. He's like, okay. But listen, I had no glitches, no problems. It was the same price. So
is it the same price? Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forget. For some reason, my little WWE Network brain is just like, well, you just pay this, but no, you got to actually. Again, I had to buy it too, which is, hey, we can say what we want about Peacock. You have Peacock over there. We can say what we want about the network, but it's so much easier
Peacock
just paying the recurring friggin' price of $10 or whatever it is instead of having to buy a pay-per-view every other few months. But that's for a discussion for a different day. But yes, we did start off with a very interesting match because there was a lot surrounding one Max. It was the talk of the town, talk of Vegas for a good
talk of Twitter, talk of everything.
He certainly it was interesting. It was interesting. There was a lot of talk that maybe he wasn't going to appear. He no-showed a fan fest. I will say in the press conference in the media scrum after Double or Nothing, Tony was not interested in talking about it.
Yeah, I'm sure he wasn't. That was evident from the way it was handled, which was business as usual. Everything's fine. We're going to run this match like nothing happened. And I was just, I don't know why, but that put a really bad taste in my mouth. It's not that I didn't want MJF to show up and do his job.
Because clearly
he did, and that's fine. But for me, I feel like it got to a point where I was like, it would be better if we didn't do this. And we found another way to handle it.
Also, with everything that's just happened with Sasha Banks and Naomi,
right?
There's a lot of, not obviously that they're directly linked with one another, because they're obviously not, but also like the way it's two very different situations. I get it, but also it overlaps. And there's obviously one way to handle it, which is not right with WWE's way, but there's also the other way to handle it of like, I didn't appreciate, listen, I know Max is Max and he's going to always do this, but the trolling with the plane. And
I hated that. It put the wrong taste in my mouth right away. I knew he was going to do it.
This match needed to be about Wardlow. And
not about you.
It was about Wardlow. Obviously, I don't know if this was the match that was always meant to happen this way. I don't know if they were meant to have more of a competitive kind of match. But I think Max just said, well, whatever they worked out, we don't know. Again, I hate with everything that happened with Banks and Naomi.
Hard to speculate.
I hate speculating. But also, a little part of me, if I was guessing, maybe there was a conversation that just said, well, I don't really want to do this. Do me quick and I'm out of here.
And that, which very likely could be, and it certainly seems that way. But as soon as he did the plane, I was like, oh, I'm all set. Like, I'm done now. It just rubbed me the real wrong way. And I get that he's a shit heel and that's like his thing.
Yeah.
And has always been his thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what about it made it a step too far for me. But I was like, I'm good. Wardlow can just flatten him and just a few power bombs and like kick him in the face. And then we're done. Like, I wanted to move on. And I felt badly for Wardlow because that was, his real moment.
And
I felt badly that as a it was, but as a fan, I felt badly that I was like, can we fast forward this? Like, I don't want to see it. I want to see the after effects. I want to see him get his contract. I want to see him celebrated. And I want to see him, start dominating on Dynamite. I did not like this at all. I don't know what it was. I just felt like there was something on Max's face where you could tell he wanted to say some shit.
And he probably will one day.
I just felt it, and I'm sure he will.
Listen, I don't hate...
I don't know.
MJF does... While he crosses the line a lot with a lot of things that he says, he does do a good job at being a shit. I understand his appeal, but also there is certain elements that he crosses sometimes in certain lines that I'm like...
too much.
Just remember where we're at, bud. I will say this, though. I said this on Twitter. That man's got a huge bum. That is a big bum. That's some ass. It's huge. I didn't realize. I was like, is it the baby blue that's just like, it's just like a lot. I'm just saying. But Wardlow, we're going to talk a little wrestling fashion in all of these because I got something to say on Wardlow. He just looks like a star. And I'm not just saying because he's huge and all of that. Like, he's
put together.
Yeah, it works. He is. It's weird. You look at Wardlow and you look at the landscape of AEW, he's not the first person I'd say, oh, he's the one that's going to break out and be super duper over with this audience. Like, he looks like a WWE prototype. He does.
Yeah.
Like, if he was...
I know.
And it is weird because some people say, like, if you cross over WWE, he would be someone that I could see being world champion in WWE because of his sheer look.
Sure. Easily.
Vince loves
I think most people would agree with you.
And it's weird because not everyone you can say that on either side. Like, if you take someone from WWE and put him in AEW, like, that won't work here, and then vice versa. They're two different worlds. So it is really interesting to see, like, Wardlow be the one that's kind of breaking from the pack. You know what I mean? Like, he's breaking from the pack. But he just looks like a star. The white gear and that, I was like, yep.
Looked great.
He looked
great.
And
he looked like he was supposed to look.
Exactly. All right. Well, if anyone has any thoughts, by the way, feel free to chime in. We'll pick out some ones and we'll talk about them if you need to. I know Tiff said get the fan for Josh, not for MJ. We'll talk about who I need to get the fan for a little later.
Don't worry. That's why this is here.
Yeah, okay. It's not for MJ.
Happening.
He's fine, I guess. Like, but he's just a shit, and it's not. It makes.
It's not attractive, is it?
Yeah, it's not. No. It's not. He's just a shit. But moving on. This match is interesting. Tag team match. Matt and Jeff Hardy versus the Young Bucks. I believe they're just the Hardys in AEW. They're not the Hardy Boys, are they?
They're just the Hardys.
I believe WWE may own that trademark of the Hardy Boys. But they're in their 40s and they're not boys. So, I don't know. They're the Hardy men at this stage. But it doesn't really have the same appeal, does it? Jeff looked off. I would just put that from the start. Jeff Hardy looked off. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying he looks beat up.
Yeah.
He needs a break.
Something's going on.
Something like... When you think about it, Jeff obviously left WWE in November, December-ish, something like that of last year, and then he come into AEW in March. That's not a big break for somebody who's been wrestling for, 25 years?
Long time.
Especially at his style. Like a lot of people say about Matt, but Matt was not doing the things that Jeff was doing on a more consistent basis. Matt toned down his style a long time ago, and rightfully so, longevity. I could still see Matt going for, Matt's a much better character than Jeff, no offense. But Jeff's just more exciting. But yeah, his boot, JPJ, I did notice that too. Like his boot was untied or something like that. Jeff's boot.
Yeah, it just was like not.
He was just off.
The whole thing was off.
It picked up by the end.
The end. Well, yeah, I just meant the whole vibes of Jeff was off. Even Matt wasn't quite right.
And Matt was trying to put in the work for this match too.
He was trying. And bless the Bucks for doing a lot of the work at the beginning.
I'm not a Bucks guy.
I know you're not, but I feel like they're
good.
I'm not
gonna sit here and say they're not good. They're very good at what they do. Their Elvis presentation was very Vegas. It worked. I'm like, okay,
hated
boys,
it.
You hated it? I
hated it. They were killing it. I know, but Matt's always have the mutton chops. So
that's true.
It was like I'm so used to crazy excellence from the Bucks with my wrestling fashion. They've nailed it with their full characters, and I was like, really? We're doing this? Didn't we do this already? Boring.
Okay, I get it. Matt and Jeff always, they have their vibe, and I'm glad they never really alter their vibe because it just works for them.
I love a Hot Topic vibe. I love it.
They look like they're straight from 2002, and I'm into it. Good. And I'm like, they work. They're the only two people that could still pull it off, to be completely honest. Their music, and by the way, having the actual Hardys music in AEW is like something you could never dream of. But luckily, that track is just commercial use, so it's just like perfect. But yeah,
it was messy.
The match was. I'll just be honest, and I'll be honest in most of these, all of these matches, it was sloppy.
Very much so.
Not just from Matt and Jeff too. The Bucks were off a little bit as well, and I think it probably was just a combination. There was points in the match where Jeff Hardy could not stand up properly.
Yeah, it was a struggle.
When he went for that whisper in the wind, Queen, I literally went, "Don't." But he was like on.
I know.
I don't know if it was intentional. I don't know if it was like meant to be the vibe of the Hardys are off. They're a step behind. Like because by the end they were like saying like no, super kick me, and then like the Jeff doesn't need Jeff. Please, if you're listening to this, my guy, you don't need to do these spots anymore. We still love you. You can just do a suplex and an arm drag and we'll still cheer you. We love you. No one hates Jeff Hardy. We all love you. Matt, obviously he's not doing any crazy spots
Thunder
like
Myth,
Jeff.
this is Pam.
Thank you so much for the follow, Macho. But yeah, it's just the match was off. The Hardys
he was calling
won.
spots for Jeff. You know,
Yeah,
like you could hear it.
Yeah, I could hear it too.
And
Which
I
is
was
not
like,
something
oh
you...
no, like you never do. And that's how you knew right away from that, like literally the audible. I was like, oh shoot, like something's wrong here. So it picked up towards the end because of the crazy spots, but I didn't expect the Hardys to win. I was a little shook by that.
I wasn't really. It was a match, one of those matches where I was like, I don't know. You know, those matches that you're like, I don't want to say not care because I care, but like not care in the sense of like, I don't care who wins this. It doesn't really, in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it does that much, really.
Right.
They're probably going to have another match, to be completely honest. So
yeah, I don't know. They're probably going to go for the titles. I would assume. Someone just said that too.
I think JPJ.
Yeah. I don't know. It made me really sad because I love tag team wrestling, and it's like,
also you love the Hardys. Yeah, you love that.
I love the Hardys. It's just
we all grew up with the Hardys. We all grew up with the Hardys.
They were my guys.
They were everyone's. I think
everybody's guys.
Yeah, who hated the Hardys when you were that age of like
no one
hated. It was when I first started watching wrestling. I was like, these are the coolest three people along with Lita of like, who hates the Hardys, and they're still cool now. But it is getting to the point where it's just like, I love you and I want you to be here forever, but also please stop. Just stop. Like, just do what you need to do, and I think it's time to maybe back it up a little.
Change some things. Yeah. I would say change some things.
Not
all the things, just some things.
But I don't think the match wasn't necessarily bad. It was just off. It wasn't
right.
Something was so odd. I was watching it the whole time and I'm just like, oh man. But before we move on to the next match, hello to everybody in the chat. I know Aaron's here. I know Avery's here. We've got Tiff here. We've got JPJ here. We've got Ryan here. We got so many people here. Macho's here. Everybody, hello. We are raising money for EVERYTOWN. Type !donation in the chat, and if we get to $200 in this stream, I will do another 10-hour Brie Bella theme on loop stream where I listen to that song for 10 hours straight. We play some games. We hang out. Queen said she'll hang out in full Nikki Bella cosplay.
I will do it.
And so we need to get to $200 in this stream. We're at 50 already. So by the way, guys, $1 is enough for us, and we've done something, but we've already raised 50, so we're still happy. We're not going to get it all grumpy at you guys, but if you can,
definitely not.
Please share this on Twitter. Make sure to let people know, hey, Josh will do this, Queen will do this. I'll get other people in here. JPJ said he'll come here. I get the boys from CFG to come in here. We will have a good time, and we will raise even more money for EVERYTOWN. But that's only if we get to $200 in this stream. So !donation in the chat. And that's how you can find, or if you feel to donate directly, it won't go towards the goal, but you can still, of course, donate to EVERYTOWN because it all goes to the same place in the end. Anyway, let's move on. TBS
Well,
title.
I was just going to say, speaking of money.
Now,
speaking of money.
You might want to get the fan for this one. I know this is going to be crazy
to
say for me, but if anybody follows me on
Wrestling's
Twitter,
gay, by the way.
I'm a very gay man. Love Doodle. My favorite thing in the world. However, there is an exception to that rule, and that is Miss Jade Cargill. Oh my God, that woman is hot. And I cannot get over it. I cannot get over Jade Cargill. She, hello, look at that woman. Do I need to explain?
No, of course you don't.
It's just...
Of course you don't.
You get it. You look at that woman and go, oh my God, she could beat me up.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know a lot of people that would pay pretty penny for it. I'm just saying.
I would.
Like, there was a bunch of people on my timeline yesterday asking her to step on them. So listen,
please.
It's a lucrative business, okay?
I don't think... Okay, Queen, you wouldn't say no. Let's just be...
Me? Yeah. No, of course not.
She's... Whoa. She is molded out of clay. It's ridiculous.
It's immaculate.
Okay, so before we talk about this match, because I'm sure we'll have some opinions, every time you see her, she looks like a superstar, like a mega star.
Oh, yes.
She just spews money. It's
Yeah.
it's just this. There's something
Outfit,
you can't explain.
hair, face.
She just
spotlight, music, gear. It
just works. We talk about like it in wrestling.
Yeah, she has it,
and she's only 2 years into the business.
She has that,
and she's okay. We can talk about her wrestling.
What do you call that?
What?
Like enigma-ish quality. Like the wrestling is something else.
Like charisma?
But no, it's like when you look at her, it's like that. She's just impressive.
Yeah, she's a specimen.
I'm not really like super into her speaking.
No, by the way, we're going to have some help with that, which we'll talk about in a second.
Smart. So smart.
But she just has a quality about her. I'm like, you get a few more years of experience under your belt and get some reps in. The sky is the limit. There's certain people that have, like Avery said, a star power about her.
Star power. Yes, that's it, Avery. Thank you.
She has that. And
yeah,
you'd be silly not to capitalize on that, which they've done a great job of. And they protected her in ways that is, again, she's green. She's 2 years into the business. Anybody would be green. But she has elements of like, I can see you're getting better. And she's working with Bryan Danielson, which...
I mean, does it get better than that?
Like...
Answer, no.
But she just, the hair, everything about her, she always has... Her wrestling fashion is on point all the time. She knows what to wear and she owns it. It's very much, she stays within her bubble, but it works really well. Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Please don't. Please don't.
And she has all like, that entrance was cool with the Vegas showgirls and that.
Awesome.
She just had
jackets.
It
was a moment.
It just.
And the baddie section, it works, Josh. It
really does. It works. She has the baddies and she has everything like that. Now, I have an opinion on Anna Jay that I don't think people are going to appreciate very much. And I'm sorry. Everybody knows how much I love women's wrestling, but that doesn't mean you have to love everybody that's within that.
Facts.
You don't
have different.
You have to have.
All have different things.
People don't understand this sometimes. What I see a lot of is this like, women can do no wrong in the business. No, that's not true. You have to equally criticize as well because you want what's best. You talk about Jade Cargill with her it and her star power. I look at Anna Jay and I go, you don't have any of those qualities. I think she's boring.
I do too, actually.
She can't speak.
No.
Her wrestling is...
okay.
But there's a lot of okay.
Yeah.
She doesn't have...
There's no character.
Nothing screams at me. I'm not saying that it can't get to that stage. I'm not wishing anything like that upon the girl.
No, of course not.
But like...
No.
She is just very vanilla.
I know.
She has nothing about... There's nothing about her that makes me... I'm like, I want Anna Jay to win this one. Like, like I don't root for her.
Well, there's no character because she's Dark Order, but what is she in Dark Order? She was the star of the show, ringmaster type vibe when she first debuted, joined the Dark Order, but like, what was happening? Then she got hurt and was gone. So like any momentum that she was building with whatever character that was going to be is gone. And then of course, I don't know what's happening with the Dark Order really in general. Yeah, and I don't know what her place is. I don't know. Does she take over for the Tay Conti of it all? I don't know because I don't understand who Anna Jay is.
She lost Tay Conti, which probably hurt her more than it hurt.
I think so.
I mean,
but Tay was like, the smiley one in Dark Order, and she's not now, and that was a mistake on many levels. But that's another conversation for later. But I don't know. I just feel like there's nothing. There's no joie de vivre. I'm not into it.
Yeah. Now, this match, it got to where it needed to go. And by the end, I think it was starting to pick up a little bit. I was like, okay, this match is getting better. But for all the stuff we say about Jade Cargill being green, it was on point in this match. She was very green in this match. Jade Cargill, I've noticed this a lot. Again, I love Jade. And I think a lot of us are willing to work through with Jade because we know she's very new and we know the potential that she has. But there was elements where Jade was so lost. Dude, she was so lost. I was like, Jade is not... She gets lost. I think Jade is And again, I'm not a wrestler, and I could just imagine that this would be what it would be like. But I think she's trying to get from point A to point C instead of going to B in her brain first. And she's going, okay, I know where I need to get to, but I just noticed a lot. She goes to the top rope, and then she's like, oh, am I meant to be here yet? And then she go to run, and she gets a little like, and because Anna is not
lost.
Enough experience to guide her through that, it's just their match on Rampage they had back in January, I want to say, was much better than this one. Like, they had a pretty decent match back on Rampage.
Yeah, I like that one better. You're right. I agree.
But by the end of this match, once the baddies got involved, we got to some spots, and the crowd, hey, at the end of the day, if the crowd's into it, it works, I guess.
Then we're good.
And
I guess.
They reacted. Anna nearly won with a victory roll at one stage. She had her in the, what's the gimmick called? What's her move called? The chokehold. Queen Slayer? Something like that?
Queen
Slayer or some bullshit like that. Something like that.
Someone tell us in the chat.
Yeah,
honestly,
someone tell us. Someone tell us what Anna Jay's finish is called. I think it is called
maybe it is Queen Slayer. Is it?
It's a rear naked choke. That's what it is.
Yeah,
really.
That's what it is. There's a name for it though.
There is a name for it, but we'll figure that out. Someone will tell us in the chat. But she had her in that at one stage. Jade got out of it and ended up she won with Jaded, I guess. I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Really, what the cool bit about this was obviously the two debuts that happened one right after the other. Obviously, Smart Mark got involved in this, and obviously he, did his little thing, and he's becoming very comedy, which is working for him. I'm not complaining, but obviously Jade needs someone that's very serious. Well, not that this guy will be super serious because he also has comedy elements, but something
he's better at it. Yeah, sorry,
and something that works for her a little bit more.
Agreed.
You know what? You can take it away of this guy because he was obviously in NXT doing his thing with whatever that group was called in 2.0.
Diamond Mine.
That one. Roddy Strong's group.
Roddy Strong's group, which well, that's another story for another day.
We're
anyway,
talk about NXT 2.0 right now.
Not gonna talk about that. Yeah, man. Like, this is the move. Really smart to bring him in. Stoke is the man. He was the man before NXT. He's the man after NXT. He's the man. And putting him with Jade and the baddies is a very, very smart move. Smart Mark is not suited for Jade. No. It worked for a little while, but he's different. And I feel like, Stoke, I feel like is going to be, once we hear him start talking for her, I think we're going to hit a new level for Jade, and this undefeated streak is going to last a while. And I think it's going to get better and better and better just with him and the baddies and her. I would love one more person in there. I want like a 4 squad, but maybe someday. I don't know. But I feel like it's going to be great. Loved that debut. Super psyched to see him in. I'm a little sad that Chris Stat didn't get a little bit more of a moment there coming out because there was a big pop.
Ooh, on Rampage, she was.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was great. And I was like super into that, but it was severely overshadowed by Athena. And I feel a little bit badly for that, but like I get where they're going, obviously, with the 3-on-3, but I had a feeling Athena was coming. I feel like a lot of people thought she was coming.
I did too, but sooner? I didn't think it was here. Yeah, I didn't think it was.
I didn't think it was here either. Yeah,
which is. I mean, we've had discussions about Athena in the past, listen, she's very good in the ring. There's no question that she's very good in the ring. But also, she had a rough. Yeah, well, that might have been part her, part what she was booked in. I think there was a lot of excitement with her in NXT, and she was kind of was primed to be the one that was going to defeat Asuka, and she never did. Right. Obviously, Asuka went away at that time, and she ended up becoming NXT Women's Champion. But can you name one match she had when she was NXT Women's Champion? And that was prime NXT, by the way. We're talking in the thick of NXT.
I can't even remember it, and how sad is that?
And I remember her losing it to Shayna Baszler, and that's it. Then she went to the main roster. Obviously, there was struggles with her on the main roster. She ended up getting hurt went back down to
Yeah,
NXT,
and a
and
bad
that
one too.
was she Achilles, right?
Yeah,
That's not fun.
not at all.
No, that's
Long
not a
recovery.
But she ended up going back to NXT, and that was the swan song. Really, the last year of her career was in NXT, and then all of that. And then it was just kind of like she got released, and we're like, okay, she's going to be in AEW. It was a matter of when. We thought it was happening a while back, but it ended up happening here.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're getting primed for Athena and Jade Cargill, which, by the way, Jade needs someone like Athena in the ring too.
Yes.
Like, that's just a perfect formula.
The roster needs someone like Athena as well.
The roster needs a lot of people like that.
Yeah, they need that. She's going to bring a lot to training and working and helping with so many other things. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because there's a lot of new in AEW, which is great. We want a lot of stuff we haven't seen before, like a lot of women we haven't seen. But the problem is,
we got to build that though.
You need people like Athena and Candice LeRae and Dakota Kai.
Yeah, waiting for that one.
And people like that to get in there. Candice LeRae, par for par, is one of the best wrestlers in the world.
She's awesome.
I don't care what anyone says to me. Candice LeRae's wow, just wow. But Athena's great. That picked up that segment there. I was like, okay, this show, AEW has this element of like, you feel it. You can feel it. It feels like you're there when you're sitting on your couch. And I wasn't feeling that at this stage. That happened and I was like, okay, cool. Like, I feel a little bit of that feeling right now. You know, it is.
I really didn't like the first three. I didn't like it.
No. We'll get
Not
into
a fan.
We'll get into the fourth match in just a second. We are here, of course, raising money for EVERYTOWN. We've already raised $50. Exclamation point donation. Share this on Twitter. Do all that good stuff so that we can get more people in here. If we raise $200 today, I will do another charity stream. And I will be listening to the Brie Bella song for 10 hours again. I did it last year. I'll do it again. I'll listen to that song on loop. Queen said she'll be here in full Nikki Bella cosplay for at least a couple of hours. Throughout that 10-hour stream, I'll get some other people in here, we'll play some games, and we'll raise even more money for EVERYTOWN. But the only way to see me go through that hell again is to get to $200 today. Okay, you still got some time. We're only in the fourth match, guys, so just calm down. We will get there, and we will just do it. But put it on Twitter, do all that, exclamation point donation, or if you prefer, you can donate directly to EVERYTOWN by typing exclamation point EVERYTOWN. Let's move on to the fourth match. I'll let you take it away.
These are my people. I'm so excited. The business picked up, honey. And I knew it would. The theater of it all, Josh. The lights, the smoke, the costumes and gear, but the masks and the brooding and the real darkness that House of Black represents is unmatched. Like, if I was to be a part of a faction, this is who I want to be a part of. I love this vibe. And the people that you have in it, beautiful. And they were so good. This match slapped because you have House of Black versus Death Triangle. It doesn't get much better in terms of talent, in terms of theatricality, in terms of ring gear. We finally started to hit some wrestling fashion moments that I loved. Man, and I've been waiting so long, and so many people also will be on this train, waited so long for Julia Hart to join the House of Black.
Oh my God, yes.
And when she got that mist, oh honey,
baby.
Oh, it was the timing of that spot. It was so good. I can't. It was a plus for me, just from start to finish. Hard hitting, fast paced, great move sets, a lot of back and forth. It felt like a pay-per-view.
It was fast. Not fast as in like 2-minute fast. I mean, like, it was just fast paced.
But it was chaotic, but not chaotic. It was
controlled.
The right level of controlled chaos. And it was just, it was extraordinary. I don't know what else I can say.
And little guy was in there at the start in the entrance.
I know, little baby dressed in full Penta cosplay.
And
You
bitch,
gotta
did
love
he
that.
own that? I was like, he nailed that entrance.
Oh,
I was like,
vibed.
you know what you're doing, little guy.
Yes.
I was like, good for him.
It was good. I want the trio titles. Bring them.
I mean, they have enough. They have enough
trios
matches
for
in
this.
AEW. So
yes.
So yeah,
It was
I have
good.
nothing else
It
to
was
add
good.
because Queen just basically summed that up really nicely. It was just good.
What can I say?
It was just good.
It was great. And it felt pay-per-view worthy.
Yeah.
For the first time, you know?
Mhm.
It felt really good.
Yeah.
We may
as well just move along.
Can't catch a break.
Honestly.
So true.
And honestly, Avery, you are right. Poor guy.
So true. Poor Pac.
We may as well just move along because there's nothing really to add to that.
Let's do it.
There's nothing really to add. You have the notes in front of you. I can't think of what exact was it the finals of the
Owen Hart. Yep, men.
Okay, so we can kind of probably talk about both
Let's
of
do
these.
two for one. Yeah,
because it is kind of the same kind of thing. Now, Adam Cole, Samoa Joe on paper, you're like, well, fuck me. This is going to be just the best thing in the world because it's crazy that they haven't wrestled.
Yeah.
That is insane with the amount of experience that those two guys have.
Yeah, think about that.
They've
Say
just
that
never
out loud.
really crossed, I guess. Because you've got to remember, why Joe was in ROH and did other stuff as well. He was in TNA for a very long time.
Yeah, very true.
And why Adam was out doing everything and stuff like that. By the time Adam got to Ring of Honor, Joe was he still with TNA when Adam was at ROH? I think the timeline would probably line up roughly. Then obviously,
I would say approximately.
Joe went to NXT when Adam was doing all stuff in Japan and ROH and all of that kind of stuff.
And then Adam came to NXT and Joe was
up on Raw and stuff like that. And then obviously stuff happened and whatever it may be. And then obviously when Joe got released and then come back to NXT, Cole was there and they had their little brief, like,
they had a little something, but it really wasn't,
because then Joe got hurt again and then was gone. And then obviously Cole was gone.
Right.
So it's just crazy to me that they've never linked up. I mean, the match was great, as you would assume, but it was not the better of the two finals matches.
Nope.
Which
and you're
is crazy.
Right. It is. Because what you said earlier was, on paper, this should slap. You know, and you think about it, like Samoa Joe, Adam Cole, it's gonna be great. And I was like, okay, buckle up, kids. Here we go. And I was like, wah, wah. What happened?
Yeah.
I mean, I knew Adam Cole was gonna win.
The pink gear, by the way, you knew what you were doing.
Immaculate.
I love
both
pink
of them.
gear. I love pink gear.
We love a good pink gear, especially when it's done right. Ooh,
and it worked well with his body and just everything. I was like, the
tan was the right color. It worked very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not happy about this.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh.
I thought it was okay.
I didn't really like it.
Maybe that's the problem. Maybe it was just okay when it should have been.
Should have been great.
Sometimes that happens. Two great performers.
Sometimes that happens. Yeah, no, for sure. You think, oh my God, this is gonna be so awesome.
And then it's just,
I was like,
just is what it is.
Yeah.
Which is, Adam Cole won. Like, there was Bobby Fish interference. You know,
of course. Yeah.
Typical undisputed elite stuff. I'm not complaining. It was what it was. The lower, what does he call it? The boom? Is that what the last shot is called here? The boom. Hit that and it was all said and done for that one. But on the flip side of things, Ruby and Britt, who had a match back at Grand Slam back in fucking whenever that was, September, August last year. They main evented for the title, and obviously that ended the way it ended with Jamie Hayter and Reba getting involved. But this one didn't have any interference, which is...
I love a good clean finish. I appreciate that.
Now, let's talk about the entrances before we talk about this match, because the entrances... Okay, get the fuzzy guy out of here. Shut up. I don't have any time for it. It wasn't that great. Britt always looks like a star. Britt is a made talent wherever she was in the world. Like, she's a made star. She looks great. Her gear was... She knew what she was doing too. Because Britt obviously sticks to a lot of red.
Oh yeah, usually red
And I like
silver
red.
vibes.
I get it. Red's great, but also like change it up, girl. But she did. She had some pink, and it looked good. Ruby's entrance
Oh,
with
Rancid.
Rancid.
How do you get better? It's so good.
She fits that aesthetic. She fits that mold. She fits everything about punk rock. She's punk rock, and she
Yeah,
looks
she
great.
is.
Her fits are always good. I love Ruby's attire. She just looks good in every sense of the word. She just looks her part. I understand that maybe her aesthetic isn't for everybody, but it fits to what she is portraying. It is crazy. Like,
Absolutely.
I know a lot of people have opinions about Ruby Riot. And that's fine. Whatever happened, they should have probably pulled the trigger on her a long time ago in WWE land, or at least the tag team titles or
Yeah.
something with Liv or
Mm-hmm.
Sarah. But it's cool to see elements of Ruby Riot still within Ruby Soho, because it's just showing
Yes.
us what it could have been anywhere. Because she looks different. That's what she has over anybody. Ruby Soho looks different.
Yeah,
and
she
it
does.
works. She's great. The Rancid entrance was great. She looked like a star. It really felt like, especially coming from Rampage, where Ruby was getting booed over because of Chris Statlander. I was a bit worried. I was like, are they going to boo her here? Because it's the same crowd. I was like, oh, but they did not. She listen, this match was great. It was better than their match at Grand Slam. I thought they really killed this one. At this point, this is one of my favorite.
They did great.
Matches. Yeah, they had a great match. Britt has moments sometimes where I'm like, Britt, you're a step behind sometimes, love. I love you to bits, but sometimes she's just a little step behind everybody. Not here.
Yeah.
She was putting in her work. Ruby is obviously great. They had great spots in this match. The wrong person won.
Yeah, well, yeah. I get why it's Britt and Adam, and I understand Ruby needed it more, or we needed to have a not clean finish.
The roll up, I guess,
to do the same.
Like,
I mean,
it's not
kind
like
of heely, but
it's not though.
But it's not at the same time. Like, right, Adam had interference. Britt should have had it as well. They need to be tainted.
Ruby they always do this, no matter where Ruby is, no matter where Ruby never wins the big
her
one.
A little bit. Yeah. I feel bad.
Britt can lose. It doesn't matter at this stage, as Britt can lose because she's made. The problem with AEW's women's division, which I could rant about for about 3 hours, is that they have their stars, yes, but they never make anyone new. They never do it. They always rely on Britt. They always rely on Thunder Rosa. They always rely on the same few people that are just like, we've got our stars, we don't need any more. I'm like, but you do. You need to have people like Ruby she's entering a territory where it's like, you're not believable to win.
Right.
And that's a problem.
And that's a bad territory. I know.
She's entering that like Dolph Ziggler range. You know that range where it's like, he's great and but
he never wins.
He's a good hand, and I hate that.
I know. It's sad. It's a sad thing, and I hope that I hope they course correct that. I think the silver lining of the whole thing was just the joy,
yes,
that came out from Dr. Martha Hart. Also love doctors. It's fantastic.
Just two doctors hanging out, you know.
Two doctors chilling, you know. It was such a nice thing. It felt very Hall of Fame-y. And I loved that for her. And I
felt genuine too.
For the Hart family. Yeah. It felt very genuine. And she was so excited about the whole thing and so proud of the belt and so proud of the trophy and just proud of everything. And I really just loved that. It was a special moment in wrestling. You know, and I did like, even though I did like the callback to WrestleMania 10, you know.
Yes.
With that.
Yes. I get what they were. I listen, I don't dislike the fact that Adam and Britt won to the point where I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm more so about like, I just feel that maybe Ruby, that would have been a cool moment for Ruby to win. But the match was really good, honestly.
It was a nice women's match. I will say that. It was good.
It was a good time.
It was a good non-titled women's match. And I actually really like how they incorporated the ladies throughout this show. One of my biggest complaints, there was a lot of women on this show. One of my biggest complaints is that there's just not enough, and we're never going to make forward progress unless we do it.
Mhm.
So I love that.
Steps in the right direction.
Yes.
I can't really say too much more. Again, guys, we're here raising money for Everytown. We've raised $50 so
Oh,
far.
Mr. Queen.
I see Mr. Queen in there. Type exclamation point donation, and you can donate. So if we get to $200 today, I've said it a bunch of times. I've said it on Twitter. I will do another 10-hour Brie Bella theme song looped charity stream, and I'll raise even more money for Everytown. Only if we get to $200 in this stream. So you got to do it. You got to do it. We're happy though. We've raised $50, so we can't.
I love that.
We can't fault anybody. But if you want more, and if you want me to go through personal hell for 10 hours again, and Miss Queen will come in and she will be in full Nikki Bella cosplay.
I will do
at
it.
least 2 hours somewhere out the stream.
And you know me, Josh has converted me to a Bella fan.
I have,
but I'm not always a Bella fan. No. Though I do like Nikki Bella more than Brie. But I will do it. I will get the hat. I will get the top. I'll get the little black checkered button up thing.
Yeah.
I'll do the whole 9.
Yeah. She'll do it. And I've got my Divas title there. I will listen. We need to get this out there though. So put this on Twitter. Make sure you share it. But type exclamation point donation. Get more people in here. You know what I mean? Get more people
help us out.
Here.
Help us.
Help us help you. Because
help you.
I mean, that is
I need a lot of help.
That is clips for Twitter. That is clips for Twitter that will live in infamy. They will just good Lord.
I know.
My God. What a fun time that will be though. So the only way you're gonna see that is if we get to $200 in this stream. So tell your friends, do all that, tag us on Twitter. Our handles are there and we'll retweet it. Just do all the good stuff. Okay?
Please help us.
I believe, is it the mix tag next?
Oh God, please. Woof. Speaking of helping us, I need help trying to get through this.
Okay, so we had Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page, and Paige Van Zant taking on, of course, everyone's favorite couple, Sammy Guevara and Ty Conti, along with Kazarian. He was also there. Listen, first and foremost, before we talk about anything, who the fuck was I meant to cheer?
Who's the bad guy? What's happening? The only face in this match technically was Frankie.
Yeah.
Right?
And he was on the heel side, right?
He was on the heel side, but also not on the heel side because
Scorpio's clearly a heel.
So is Ethan and Paige and that annoying mouthpiece. So confusion. I don't know what's happening. I hated this whole thing. Okay. I hated it. I was so excited after the House of Black match. I was hyped. I'm like, okay, we're gonna, it's gonna be great. I got Cole and Joe. Okay. Britt and Ruby. Yay. Okay. Nice speech from Dr. Martha. Wonderful. And then this, first of all, why is this on a pay-per-view? This is a Rampage match at best. Okay. No, thank you. Second of all, I'm tired of seeing Sammy and Ty Conti. I'm tired of it. It's got to stop.
They like each other's tongues.
It's vile. It's to the point where it's vile. Like you're trying to be like Edge and Lita and you're not. So let's stop right there. Cause you're not. The end. Moving on.
Good Lord.
I can't.
Oh,
I am so fired up about this. I hate this whole thing. And I wasn't a really big Ty Conti fan anyway.
Her name is weird to say. I know I say it weird too. I thought it was my accent, but I'm like, it's not. It's
just weird. But I really don't like her personally.
True, Mr. Queen. Like, see, Mr. Queen's on it. That's very true. No, it just that's very much true.
Oh yeah. Yes, Mr. Queen, let him know. Yeah, I really can't stand it. They make me crazy. And I didn't understand their alliance with Frankie. This was just a mistake. I just do Scorpio, Sammy. Do Scorpio and Paige Van Zant and Sammy and Ty Conti and call it a day. Like I didn't need, Ethan could have been on the side and Frankie didn't need to be involved. It just wasn't like it was trash. And I'll stop there. Other than Paige Van Zant was better than I thought she was going to be.
Yeah, she's going to be fine. She got some experience in that. I think she'll be just fine. I'm not going to sit here and defend it. I didn't think it was maybe that I don't have that kind of hate for it.
Ugh.
But also, I just don't give a shit enough to get that hate for it. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you about it. It's not the hill to die on. That's fucking certain. But I thought the match was better than it had any right to be. I'll say that. But that's just my opinion. But we can move on from that cluster. It was a cluster, by the way. It was still a cluster.
Awful.
Yeah.
Moving on. Darby, Kyle O'Reilly.
Actually, I will say Avery makes a good point. The TNT title is never defended on pay-per-views. That title is getting into that zone of like, are we
do
still
something
caring?
with it or stop it? Yeah. I agree. Good point, Avery.
Avery's a mod on my Twitch, and he's just okay. So we'll get back to this, but Avery's favorite wrestler is the Big Show. It's not even ironically. He loves the Big Show, and I give him so much shit for it all the time. Avery loves the Big Show. You watch him in like literal 15 seconds go over about how much he loves No More BS. Paul White. He loves the Big Show. Of all people, the Big Show.
That's wonderful.
But yeah, we did have like what the purpose you mean, JPJ, of like the purpose being like we're meant to not like that match? Was that the purpose?
I meant to not like Ty and Sammy.
No, he meant the TNT title. It's only defended on TNT. But what about the purpose of the TBS title then? Why is that getting defended?
Yeah, why does that get defended then? Good call. Smart, Joshy, smart.
But
I need the
JPJ,
answers.
not
Get us
trying
the answers.
Wipe your, whatever. But let's move on to Kyle O'Reilly and Darby Allin, which was announced like in the buy-in. It was going to be on pay-per-view.
I wish it was on the buy-in, actually.
Listen, it was a good match.
It was a good match, but why couldn't we needed something to be added instead of like 45 minutes of replaying the promo videos and one match on the buy-in. Give me something else.
Yeah. We always fault WWE for their kickoff shows of only not having... Hey! Mr. Queen with a $10 donation.
Hey!
Thank you so much. Look at that.
Thank you.
Look at that.
One step closer to 200. Thank you, my friend.
We're at $60 now, guys. $60. So we can get here. We can get here. I know we can get here.
We can do it.
It takes one big donation. But if you can donate $1, we're not. Whatever you can donate, it'll help towards a good cause. And you're getting close to that $200 donation, then you can put me through hell. So if you want to see me go insane,
want to do that?
we remember last time I literally went crazy. So I'll do it again. But let's Kyle O'Reilly and Darby. There was a spot in that match that I went, when he did that dive and he did like a cartwheel. It was like, oh fuck, and I was like, wild. Oh Darby, buddy, he's gonna hurt himself real bad one day.
Scary.
And then there was another spot with the suicide dive, and then Kyle caught him, and it was
the bottom rope suicide, right?
Yeah,
where his foot caught. Yeah,
and then he caught him in the guillotine. Oh my goodness, Kyle's great.
Scary.
Kyle O'Reilly is really good.
We love Kyle O'Reilly in this house.
But yeah, the match was fun. Kyle won.
Yeah, I like that. Not many people get over on Darby, so I'm into that.
Yeah, I'm really into that as well. Darby's a character that can lose.
Yeah, and be fine. So that's always a good thing. Yeah, and I feel like Undisputed Elite's about to get a big push forward, so that makes sense.
Yep.
I mean, maybe.
No, I mean, yeah. I have nothing else to add. We can move along from this one. You've got the list in front of you. I'm never organized. What was next?
Oh, AEW Women's Championship match.
Of course. Serena Deeb. And
talk about wrestling fashion.
Thunder Rosa. Yeah, let's talk about Thunder Rosa. Man, she looked.
What a look.
And speaking of what we're speaking of right now, she had a very nice, it was like a heart with the name of the school.
I know.
The town.
Yep.
Was it? My bad. One of the two. It all had the meaning, and of course that's why we're here today as well. But she looked great. The Mera.
Amazing.
She's great. Thunder Rosa is great. This feud has not been.
Nope.
The build to this
match was great.
The match was fantastic. They wrestled.
They for sure wrestled.
Serena Deeb, for all the faults that she has, I understand personally, some people don't love her, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But she's a great wrestler. One of the
best.
Great
wrestler.
Thunder Rosa is also a great wrestler. One of the best.
showed out.
They wrestled their hearts out, and they had a great match. They had a great wrestling match, built perfectly. It was the perfect amount of time. The right person won. I don't really have anything else to say other than they both look the part too. Serena Deeb's gear is basic, but again, sometimes basic.
It's effective
works.
though.
It
works for her. Yeah.
Her vibe. She's the professor, right? That's her shtick. It works for her.
Yeah, it does work for her.
And Thunder looked great. I love color, so.
Oh, beautiful. Everything was great. I top to bottom one of the strongest women's matches in a while, which is nice. And I'm really hoping they can do some better booking.
Because that feud was not that. It was just
not well made.
And it should have been, because you have two great wrestlers.
Yeah.
But they didn't wrestle once on Dynamite in this whole feud.
We needed something like that, and we just never got it.
It was about like Dustin Rhodes, and like it was just very convoluted, and it
needed
was
to be better.
The match itself, though, pretty damn good. I know we're kind of moving through a couple of matches here, but we're going to spend some time on something in a minute, I know. But like, yeah, the match was good. I just hope we don't, like, listen, I wouldn't be opposed to seeing them wrestle more, but also I want this feud to end because it just hasn't been very good.
I agree. We need some better builds. We need some better booking, and they're okay on the mic, right? We need to stop with these promos. We need to let them actually wrestle. Remind people why they're so good. No, terrible, not good. So we just need to do matches over and over and remind people why they're so great.
Wrestling.
Yeah.
Some wrestlers just need to wrestle, and some need more promo time, and this is one of them that just needs more wrestling.
Yep, I agree. But, you right.
But I don't know where Thunder's going next, but I would assume she's done with Serena Deeb. But you never know.
Well, I guess we'll find out on this one. Maybe.
Yikes. All right. Well, we are here, of course. Again, exclamation point donation. We've raised $60. If we can get to 100, you know what's going to come up. I've said it a million times. I won't say it anymore. But we are here to raise money for EVERYTOWN. EVERYTOWN helps with what's going on in the United States at the moment, considering just everything. We discussed it at the very beginning of this show. We won't get into it again, but EVERYTOWN helps with, basically it helps with getting tighter gun control in the United States, because that's what needs to happen to stop things like this happening in the future, because a lot of these things are preventable. A lot of this. We can do the right thing to get it. We need something that goes on in that country, because it's not okay. There's gun control everywhere else in the world, every westernized country, but there's not in the United States, and that obviously needs to change. So EVERYTOWN can help. So exclamation point donation if you want to help towards the goal, or exclamation point EVERYTOWN to donate directly to the cause. Either, it doesn't do any difference. It goes to the same place at the end of the day. Queen's.
Sorry, just casually dying over here.
Yeah, she's getting
my
there.
allergies are so bad.
Oh, listen, don't even. We're going into winter. Actually, it's the last day of autumn in this country, so we're going into winter.
Come over there?
I love winter. I'm a winter guy. I love it.
I'm a winter gal.
Yeah,
so
not a summer fan. At all. Especially here, it gets hot. But yeah, moving on from the AEW Women's World Title. You can take it away, because I never know what orders anything is in.
From a not so great build to a great build. And listening to obviously we're talking about Anarchy in the Arena. But man, that promo Eddie cut,
girl,
that was rough.
It was real.
In the best way.
Yeah.
Like, it was raw and brutal and honest and dark.
It was real dark.
That man is unmatched. No one cuts a promo like Eddie Kingston does, or makes you feel a way like Eddie Kingston does.
And it's not for the purpose of like, let's pop the crowd.
No. It's just real.
Just talking. He's just talking. And I don't mean to dismiss his promos, but he's just talking. And it works. It comes from here instead of his brain. Like, he's not cooking that in his brain. Like, he's feeling that. And you can tell when something's authentic, especially in professional wrestling. And he's just, Eddie Kingston, for love him or hate him, he is himself. He's himself. And there's clearly, I love how this kind of narrative of like, we just all hate Eddie Kingston. Like, everybody just doesn't like Eddie Kingston. But not us as fans. I mean, like, like, Bryan Danielson's like, fuck Eddie Kingston. I don't care about him. Like, he doesn't care. Like, but it comes from a very authentic place with Eddie. This match, man, I did not know what to expect with this. I didn't expect to hear Wild Thing playing while they were brawling, and I loved every second of it. I was like, because I was like, oh, the music's still playing, and I was like, oh, they just haven't turned it off yet. You know, they're not in the ring. And then I was like, oh, hold on. This is intentional. And it was
Wild Thing.
I did not know you could brawl to that song, but you can.
I mean, you can. And boy, did they.
Did they ever. Now, let's talk about some, when you want to talk about wrestling fashion, we need to appreciate the Jericho Appreciation Society. They look like a boy band, and it was amazing.
Backstreet's back, all right.
You need to get the fan out, because I'm about to talk about my boy Danny G.
I'm ready. I'm ready for you. I'm here to support you.
All white gear, I love. You know, you love all white gear.
We love an all white championship gear.
Okay.
And when you're coming to win, you wear white, clean, crisp, beautiful, and it was spotless.
The only way
no crumbs.
Danny G could look like that white gear could look any better if it was on my bedroom floor. That's the only way it could look any better. But you know, I love Daniel Garcia. There's no, I'm not even going to hide it at this point, the things that I would let that man do to me. But it's so weird because he's so serious, but he's also hilarious.
So serious.
He's actually so funny because he's like the straight man. I wish he wasn't, but it was like, he's the straight man, like, but the aggressiveness works and it works off with like, just the ridiculousness of, first and foremost, the wizard, Chris Jericho. He's actually funny as all hell.
It's so
Jericho's
funny.
so much better as a heel, like the stupid heel, where he's just like so full of himself. Like, that's where Jericho works the best.
The list.
Yeah, it's the dumbest. Example. He clicked the pen for fucking
and
hell.
People popped.
Yeah,
he's one of the only wrestlers that I can recall that can do anything and make it marketable.
Yeah, he got the word "it" over.
Am I a wizard? Yep, sure am. Want to watch me make fireballs? Yep.
It's so stupid and it's so good. But if anyone else did that, I'd be like, "This is really dumb,
stupid." But it works for Jericho. It is.
He's in his element. Also,
you can get anything over.
That man has got in very good shape. He's put the work in. You can tell. Good for him.
Absolutely.
Freaking Avery, can you please get rid of that bot in the chat? Thank you very much.
Rude.
Just bots. Avery will deal with it. So it's they look like a boy band. It was fantastic. Great. They did the turnaround gimmick and they had the JA. I always say that so weird. JAS on the back. Just what a ridiculous look. And then of course you had the rough and tough of those five. You have Moxley and Bryan. Also Bryan he had his plain white tee just like cut.
I was like, what is happening?
Pants. I was like, oh Bryan.
I was like, you go hard, Davey. You go hard.
Or whatever their corduroy fucking pants he was wearing. I was like, Bryan.
I'm dying.
I was like, Bryan needs to get in there and help that man. Bryan is interesting with what he wears. But man, the Wild Thing playing and the Jericho unplugging the sound, like the soundboard or whatever he did. I was like, you piece of shit.
Done.
I was like, you piece of trash.
It was great though.
And then it was just, I hate being, not making a pun, but it was just total anarchy. It was just literal just chaos. From start to finish, that match was chaotic. There was blood. There was fire. That image of Eddie Kingston walking down the ramp with like the whatever, what do you want to call it?
The gas can,
covered
in blood and like black paint or something.
He looked like he just got out of his grave. Like I was like, what the fuck? It's like a horror movie. He looked like a GTA loading screen. It was like ridiculous.
That's what a Buried Alive match should look like after. I'm just saying.
Then he was gonna light freaking Chris Jericho on fire.
Yes.
Oh my god, you can kill him.
Bryan Danielson was so pissed. And it was so great. And you know what I actually thought, like, too? I thought production did a really good job of following that because it was so chaotic.
It was just
and that we
chaos.
got to see the good stuff. And I didn't really feel like I missed anything.
No,
There
I
was a
think
lot
I'd have to watch that
happening, but
match
I felt
again.
like,
I'd have to watch it again.
yeah.
But man, like, it just, you know how you talked about in the House of Black match where it was controlled chaos? This needed to be the opposite of just like, just run free, boys. Just have a good time. Like,
Yeah, it was a good time.
Worked. Because I didn't know what to expect of this match. Was it going to be, you know, I knew it was going to be like you had the people in there that would make it violent, but I wasn't expecting this.
Yeah, I wasn't either.
Like, when I visualized it, this isn't what I necessarily expected. Like, the first 10 minutes of the match, no one was in the ring.
Yeah.
And then they took apart the ring.
Yep. And
now,
I mean, it was great.
There was just a lot of spots that we're not going to go spot for spot because there's just too many. We'll talk about the finish.
Yeah,
did the right people win?
I don't think so. Think about it from like a booking standpoint, right? How do you explain how 5 very credible badasses lose to this? It's tough for me. It's a tough sell, especially after the continued losses, especially for Eddie Kingston, right?
He loses a lot.
When do we get the payoff for that? It doesn't make us want more of this feud. It makes us want to be done with this feud.
Does it? I was like, well, can I be the argumentative one here?
You could go on the other side. I just like, for me, I don't feel like this, pun intended, added more fuel to the fire. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, it was like, oh, this is how we're going to end it. Oh, okay. Well, I don't really want to see it again because they're not going to top this. So what are we going to do? You know, it just felt weird, but I really enjoyed it overall.
Okay. I am for the fact that, okay, you have these two teams. You have the Jericho Appreciation Society, and then you have whatever the fuck you want to call those other 5.
Yeah.
I always am under the impression that, okay, Avery made a good point. Blood and Guts is probably, speaking of Blood and Guts, is probably where we're going with this. The 2 ring War Games. War Games, if anyone doesn't know what Blood and Guts is.
War Games.
Which, well, I guess he still can't say that, but, you know, William Regal. Where was Regal, by the way? Weird.
I don't know. That was weird.
He wasn't on commentary. I love Regal on commentary. Man with the mask.
I love Regal.
He's
Man in the mask.
He's great. But I like the fact that the faction that is a well-oiled team went over. Because when they're fighting for the first time, at least in their first match, like, they're arguing. There's all this tension with Kingston and Bryan, even Kingston and Moxley, and just that whole dynamic. And then you got Santana and Ortiz, and it's just kind of like, these
it was a
5
weird
are
matchup,
a mixed match. They shouldn't be beating a well-oiled machine. Honestly, too, this is the Jericho Appreciation Society's first match as a faction, all 5.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
To progress this story, like, if you just have them lose, yeah, okay, there's still ways to get to it. Like, we lost, we shouldn't have lost that. Like, yeah, okay, there's still ways, there's always a way in wrestling to get back to something if you need to. But I'm always of the opinion of the babyface should chase the heel. Now, the heels have won because they capitalized on a moment between Bryan and Kingston that they shouldn't have fought in. Now, the whole idea is in Blood and Guts, we have to work together if we want to take down the Jericho Appreciation Society. That's how I felt with this one.
Yeah,
and honestly,
I hear that.
Too, you say about Kingston, he didn't take the loss. Bryan did.
No. Yeah. Which is what I also thought was weird.
But, like, in a way that Bryan didn't tap.
No.
He passed out.
He just passed out. I know. I don't know.
That's just my
I get
opinion.
what you're saying.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying as well. But I just feel like if you beat the Jericho Appreciation Society in their first match, like, why the fuck should we care that they'd win any other time? These 5 are not a team.
Good point.
We've established the fact that they don't like one another, or some of them don't like one another. Like,
You're
the Jericho
right,
Appreciation
Josh.
Society jerk each other off every other day.
In a circle.
Literal. The Jericho,
literally,
the Jericho jerk circle.
It's a circle jerk.
But yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, they should go over.
I know. I feel like your point is right. I don't know.
I'm not trying to one up you. I'm just.
No. I think you're right. I just feel
You just love your boys
I don't
too.
know.
You love your boys. You love Brian.
I like my
and
boys.
You like
I want
Moxley.
them to win. Maybe it's more of that fandom type thing. You
It's
know,
the fandom
maybe it's just because
taking
I
over
love them.
Yeah, you love Mox. You love Kingston. You love
do.
Brian. I don't know how you feel about Santana and Ortiz, but
I like them a lot. I just wish they were on their own in the tag team division, but that's another combo.
girl, you're sad. You're sad. All right, so we're in the final little stretch here of these last few matches.
Mm-hmm.
We are here again. We've raised $60, so we're happy. We're not faulting anybody. But if you want to get to $200 today in this stream, you need to type in !donation. And like I said, I'll do another 10-hour Brie Bella stream. Queen will be there. It'll be a very insane time. But you've got to donate before the end of this stream. I might even leave it open for a little bit, but you've got to donate relatively soon. So if you want to, I'll type in this in the chat right now, so then you can get the link. But you type !donation, or if you feel more comfortable and you don't want to donate to the PayPal, that's fine. You can type in !everytown. But look at that, Mr. Queen. Look what Mr. Queen just said.
Whoa! What a guy. What a guy.
You can read that out if you want to.
Oh, wait.
Oh, shit. You can read that out for everybody that maybe not seeing the chat.
Sure. Mr. Queen says, I will match up to $50 any donations that come in between now and the end of the stream. And we have 2 matches left.
2 matches left. So you've got about 20 minutes, guys. Ish.
Yep.
But get it on Twitter. Put it out there. Whoever's listening.
I will take a screenshot of that and I will post this right now.
Yeah. Tag me in it.
I will. Of course I will.
I will retweet it. Because we want to get there. We want to help. At the end of the day, it's not about us. It's not about any of that. Like, we want to help what's going on in the United States of America right now, especially for something so close to Queen and stuff like that. We want to help
Big
out.
Time.
Because at the end of the day, I'm not taking any credit here. Queen put me over before with hosting this, but this is all Queen's idea. This is all Queen. Like, Queen wanted to do this. I'm just happy to help because obviously for different reasons, the same reason at the end of the day, I want what's happening in this country to happen in the United States. I want more gun control and what's happening in most of the world that isn't the United States. So again, !donation to get that on there. And we will put this on Twitter. Again, Mr. Queen is going to match up to any donation up to $50 from between now and the end of this stream. So you got a couple of matches that we can talk about. And then like I said, we'll do all this stuff. All right, what have we got next? We have got the
tag match.
Oh yes, the triple threat tag team match. Talk about gear. They all matched, which
Woo!
is something nice.
We love it. We love that. And my pal Chris, Black Baymax 8, told me that I would love this one because I actually spoiler went to bed.
Queen said that she was done. She was like, I'm going to... It was a long show. I don't blame her. I was getting worried because, as you know, it airs during the day for me live. I had to go to work and I was like, is this thing going to end before I have to go to damn work? Because otherwise I'm not going to be able to watch the main event. I do appreciate whether it's bad gear or whether it's good gear. If you're a tag team, match. I don't care if it's the ugliest fucking gear in the world. Match your gear as a team. You need to look like a team. You can still have your own variations, but it needs to have the color scheme and everything like that. Matching. I'm very big on that. I don't know about you, Queen, but I am.
Oh, big time. Big time.
It has to
JPQ and I talk about this all the time when we do our hashtag wrestling fashion stuff. Tag teams, for our purposes, need to be coordinated. Yes. Matching, color schemes, vibes. It really represents the unit.
Speaking of one Mr. Black Baymax, just donated $5.
Wow, what a man!
What a guy!
Bam!
What a guy!
What a guy!
Sorry to interrupt you.
That's all right. Nope.
But yes, we just got another $5 donation. We're at $65. Look at that! Look at us go! Look at us go! So.
Loved it. Loved the gear.
Yes, the gear. That's where we were.
Looked great. All the teams were collected, serious, ready to go. And it was a fun time.
It was just a fun time. That match was... Listen, I was tired at this point. I wanted this match to be over really, really fast. But it went for its time. It went for its time, and it was fine. I liked it. It was fast-paced. Probably what it should have been, to be completely honest. Triple threat tag teams have the opportunity to be really chaotic and fast and fun. This was controlled chaos. I will say this.
Talk to me. I'm listening.
Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland.
Mm-hmm. You look puzzled.
Well, when we talk about tag teams and stuff, doesn't everybody get on WWE for thrown together tag teams?
Yeah.
Why does everyone love this then?
Because I feel like from the second they were there, they were together. They had some solo moments, but I feel like it's been something like gelled a little quicker for them.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
Okay, I get it. But I still don't see these two as a team. They're just two guys.
No, I
that are
understand.
friends.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying for sure.
And that
It's definitely not the same vibes.
I'm not against throwing together tag teams as long as it works. Like, I don't care the reasoning. I don't care. It's like you just needed something to do. If it works, it
Right.
works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But yeah, I don't know. People just seem to. I don't know. Maybe it's just me looking into things. They
No,
also
but I
tagged
hear
on
that.
the indies a bit. Okay, I didn't know that. See, again, I don't know that
See?
much. Bitch, I don't know what anything is.
There's a lot of things we don't know.
They
can't know
matched
everything,
gear and
but we
they look
appreciate
great.
that.
Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. I mean,
They were a good time.
People
He has
seem
great
to
hair.
be- well, he does have great hair. People seem to be getting a little bored with them. I've noticed.
Yeah, all of a sudden, kind of.
They hyped them. Then they won the titles, and everything just seemed to go.
Now they're like, oh, okay.
I don't know.
Do-do.
And then you had Will Hobbs and Ricky Starks.
Oh,
Man,
love Ricky Starks.
he's great.
Mhm.
I will say, the crowd really popped this for Ricky Starks' little
Yes.
doogie on the ropes. You know, he does the little like thing. The crowd
Yeah.
loved that.
Yeah.
I was like, well, they really
Yeah.
reacted to that. I'm not really sure why necessarily they reacted as loud as they did. I'm like, they love that spot.
They do.
Just like a transitional little thing, but I was like, that's kind of cool.
That is cool.
I didn't expect Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus to win, to be completely honest, because I thought Christian was going to do Christian's going to turn. Like, that's what we're waiting for here, right?
Yeah, I think that he's going to turn soon, and I don't think I'm wondering if they're not going to drop the titles at All Out. I'm wondering if they're going to drop the titles sooner.
Yeah, like within the next few weeks, kind of sooner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jungle Boy
Kick
versus
off
Christian,
the summer
by the
with a new
way.
team.
Summer.
It'll be great.
Oh, Christian.
You know, the other thing too in this match, there was a pin that Swerve was on. He was in the cover, and Hobbs like barely.
Oh yeah, I know
broke it up.
exactly what you're talking about.
And,
Jungle
like,
Boy was
they
getting
almost
pinned, I think.
Won.
Yeah, it was. I think
was
Jungle
like-
Boy even instinctively went, I had to kick
so.
out. Like I.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was interesting. I know
So that was
exactly.
interesting.
I can
You know
see
exactly what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly the spot that you're talking
Mhm,
about, because I was like,
mhm,
ooh,
mhm,
that
mhm.
was really like cutting it very close on that one. But the match was, the match was fun. Luchasaurus and I nearly called him Lucha Boy. Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy went over, and I think we are on the back end of their reign as tag team champions. I don't know.
I feel like it's coming to a close, right?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
To be honest, I wish FTR were in this match.
That's coming next.
Yeah, that's got to be soon. I love FTR. Oh, I love FTR. But yeah, they won. The Christian turn is coming. The end of the tag team reign is coming. I would have liked to see Ricky Starks and Will Hobbs win, to be completely honest. I like
Yeah,
those two.
I wouldn't have hated that. I wouldn't have minded either.
I wasn't mad at the fact. I'm not on the hate
Yeah.
train or anything like that for Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. They're fine.
No, they're fine. They're
But
great. I like Jungle Boy a lot.
I
but-
will admit they probably have stalled a little.
Yeah. I think so. And for me, I feel like Jungle Boy, no offense to Luchasaurus, but Jungle Boy is one of the pillars of AEW. And I want that boy to have that TNT
no.
belt and have a really nice run. I would love to see Jungle Boy do a John Cena US Championship
Oh,
TNT title run.
was.
What a time.
John Cena.
What a time.
That's so weird to say now. That was so long ago.
It was so long ago. It's like 2010 or something.
Good Lord. Mr.
Whew.
Mr. John Cena, hey? I didn't think we
Hey.
talk about John Cena in this, but he's like an actor now. He's like a big Hollywood man. Good for him.
He's something.
Make your bank.
Live your life.
Make your
Make
bank.
your money.
I didn't like his show, whatever it was. whatever it's called.
I didn't watch it. Was it bad?
What's it called? Someone in the chat. I can't think of the name for the life of me.
Wipeout.
No. The show, his Marvel show or his DC show, whatever it was.
The Suicide Squad thing, but he did his own.
Peacemaker. Yeah, didn't love that. It was a bit corny, but good for him. Making money, man. He's probably got a lot of it.
Moves.
But yeah. Anyway, speaking of John Cena, one of his best rivals was CM Punk, and going into the AEW World Heavyweight Championship match. Riddle me this: a year ago,
yeah.
Would you be saying that CM Punk is going for a world championship in professional wrestling? A year ago. A year ago would have been when the rumors actually started that he was going to AEW. Which is wild.
Just no.
No. No. I don't think anyone could.
So here's the thing. I went with Mr. Q to Starcast and All Out in 2019. And I met CM Punk. I was at his panel. We sat and watched it. He had a lot to say about wrestling, and he was like adamant about not returning. And I did the meet and greet. I waited in that line for an ass long time because CM Punk's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. And I know he's controversial to a lot of people, but I loved him. I loved him when he was in WWE. Loved him.
He was the guy for a little while, as much as
he was. And that Money in the Bank match was just,
oh my god, still one of my favorite matches ever.
Probably one of my favorite matches of all time.
So
and
good.
So I met him, and it was so much fun. And I just thought to myself, I thought back to that moment last night. Like, if you'd asked me then, I would have said no way. If you'd asked me in 2020, I would have said no way. And now here we are. CM Punk's in AEW. And what a time. What a time to watch this build from his debut here to this match with Hangman. Josh, it's a wrestling moment. It's the summer of Punk, the third.
It is the third.
But in AEW, which is just not something
it's the unknown.
You thought you would say as a sentence, you know? So what did you think?
Well, to answer my own question, no, absolutely not. There was no way I thought. I was adamant even when the rumors started that CM Punk was not going to come back. I was like, it's not happening. Punk is not coming back. And I think a lot of us were like that. A lot of us were like, this isn't happening. Punk is not coming back to wrestling. We know. Hey, we got another $35 donation from Mr. Queen.
Thank you.
We're at $100, guys. We only have $100 to go. We can do this. Get us to $200. Get us to $200. We haven't even started talking about the actual match itself yet. You still got a little bit of time.
There's still got time.
Exclamation point donation. I'll write it in the chat right now. Get us to $200. We can do this. We can help out. But $100, I mean, hey, we're at $100.
We can do it.
We can't fall.
Spread it. Hey, do us a favor. Spread the word on Twitter. Mm-hmm. Tell the people we only have $100 left on our goal, and see if they'll come in and spend some time with us as we talk about the championship match. Yeah. And, see if we could get to our $200 goal.
And ask us anything in this next little time that we have. Ask us a question. We'll answer it. We're at 100. We got $100 left. I'll write this on Twitter before I.
Yeah, go for it. I'll keep talking when you do that.
You go.
Yeah. So I feel like when you think about this, you answered your own question. It just wasn't something you thought that would happen. It's a weird spot, right? For those of us who are Punk fans prior, all those years ago.
We got a $50 donation!
Let's go! Kennedy. Who did it?
Ryan.
Thank you.
He's Sully in the chat.
Thank you.
$150, guys. We have $50. Oh God, we have $50 to go.
We can do it. Josh is already hearing Primo in his head.
Oh no, what have I started? I'll put the hashtag WWE Raw in it too. There we go.
Yeah, do it.
We'll use Raw's clout. I'll use clout from Raw. I don't care. Hey guys,
We'll
if
do
anything
anything
cool has
for
happened
clout.
on Raw, shoot us at it in the chat. You can talk about it here too. I'm sure Queen will have opinions on Raw. I have opinions on Raw as well. But
I'm
yes,
sure that I do.
yeah, CM Punk of all people, what the fuck? Like, just what the fuck, really? There's no real way to put it. Now, going in to this build has been pretty damn good. For a lot of the faults that we talked about with AEW's build to a certain few matches on this pay-per-view, this ain't one of them. This ain't one of them. They've done a perfect job of not making any individual face or heel. You decide for yourself. There's just this area of gray. Like, whoever you want to root for, you can just decide for yourself. And that
you pick that right out of my brain.
You can't do that a lot in wrestling. It's really hard because if you don't have you know how we said in the 6-person mixed tag match, like, who the fuck are we meant to be cheering for here?
Right.
Who the fuck are we meant to be cheering for here is the same sentence you can apply to this match, but in a very different way. Of like, they've done such a good job of telling us, this is Hangman's points, this is CM Punk's points. You do with that information what you will. And that's really hard. That's really hard to dictate in wrestling. Because, listen, I'm the first to admit, wrestling fans are stupid. We are dumb individuals when it comes to professional wrestling. We're stupid idiots. We need to be told what to be cheered and what to be... We're dumb.
We like to be led. We're sheep,
you can't,
as they say.
You can't let us decide for ourselves. You have to tell us what to do. And then we will make the informed decision of whether we're going to oblige by what you're saying or not. But if you just leave the information at our fingertips, we're like, what? Mm-hmm. What do we do with this? What are we meant to do here?
Tell me what to do.
We're just like, we've literally like lost our ability to speak. Like, that's what it's like. But here they've done a really good job of being like, there's elements of Punk that are just being a shit. And there's elements of Hangman that are just being a shit. But there's also elements of Punk that are being fantastic and wonderful and a great human being. And there's also elements of Hangman being that. It's really, really, it's just been done.
It's your fandom.
It's just literally up to you. And can you think of one other time in the last decade that that's happened? Because I really can't. Like, properly
where it's like this?
Yeah. Where, okay, there's been 2 faces or even 2 heels.
Sure.
But you're just like, who do I like more? But there's elements of them that are both face and heel.
Right. And they're not tweeners, but they're not tweeners.
It's so odd. I can't.
It's never
been done properly like this.
No, I really don't think it not to this extent.
Not in my fandom time. I've never seen it. I'm sure it has been done.
If you could think of something, let us know in the chat, but I can't think about it either. But I just feel like this was a special moment. You know, and I feel like when Punk came in, it was our time to think, okay, he's coming in, he's going to wrestle. It's going to be fun to watch and see what he's going to do. But ultimately, you knew it was going to end up here.
Yeah.
And will they put the title on him or not? And I felt like we got to this moment. Hangman's had a run.
Yeah.
He has done the job as a champion.
Yeah.
I think he wrestled a lot of great matches. The fact that he beat Daniel Bryan made him even more of the guy. I think.
Well, yeah.
And he kept winning and he kept being himself, and he's so cowboyish. Of course. But it suits him so well. And to see it come to an end this way, where he has that crisis of conscience and he's no longer the champion, I feel like his character work is going to be extraordinary. Avery just said that, and I was like, "That you're right." You know, when the stuff was going on, when he was a tag team champion with Kenny, and we watched all of that fall apart, and watched Hangman fall apart, some of his best character work has been since, actually, we could go even further back to when he lost at the very first championship match against Chris Jericho and didn't win. And his character build from that moment to now, it's some of the best in wrestling, period, in this modern time. It's been stellar. His stuff with the Elite, distancing himself from the Elite, tagging with Kenny, going through his own, you know, his own head stuff was great. And then him becoming champion, finally getting that moment, and his run is stellar. And now he has to face CM Punk. And you're just like, oh man, for my money, what a main event, you know?
Who did you think was going to win going into this match?
CM Punk for sure.
I was the opposite.
Really? You thought Hangman was going to retain? See, isn't that fun?
Yeah.
This is what I loved a couple years ago about New Japan Wrestling. You never quite know who's going to win. And you can honestly say either of the two could come out on top, arguably. And that's what I have loved about this particular feud, because I feel like that's a common theme. Like a lot of people were like, oh, it's like CM Punk 100%. And other people were like, no, it's Hangman for sure.
I was Hangman all the way.
That's a great thing to have for your main event championship match, you know?
Yeah, I know I always go back to this because I'm not like a New Japan guy or anything like that, but it reminds me of like peak prime NXT.
Yeah. Oh, yes, of course.
Like
Gargano, Cole, Ciampa. Oh, yeah.
Like it just reminds me of that, and I can't get past that. But the match itself was pretty good. Like I thought it was a good main event, considering we had 5 hours of wrestling in front of this. Like that's any professional wrestling fan, any sports entertainment fan, whatever you want to call it, would be just bummed out of like tiredness. Like at that point, it's past midnight at that point, I believe, in the States. Like that's a long time to watch.
It was a long pay-per-view.
Any sport, any concert, anything. Like that's a long time to watch wrestling. And you think those fans have been there for like an hour beforehand, before the buy-in even started.
Yeah.
Dude, like just that's a long time to watch anything. The match wasn't overly long. I wouldn't say it was like long in terms of like long main event. It was a pretty standard time.
It was pretty standard, I feel like. Yeah.
I did like how let's just talk about the finish, because the finish is where we're at. The finish is what we need to talk about.
Yes.
Hangman fucked up.
Yeah, I know.
He couldn't do it. If he hit him with that belt, still a champ. Yep. But he didn't want to. He tested his morals. That's how I looked into it anyway. It was Hangman now has a cool thing to run with now. Is like Punk didn't beat me for the title. I lost the title.
Right. Because I let that happen.
Punk won off of Hangman's mistake. It wasn't like Punk beat him. He didn't outsmart him. Because I think if CM Punk was in that situation, Punk would have hit him with the belt. We've seen Punk be a dick. Punk is still a dick in some aspects.
Yeah.
Hangman lost. He didn't get beat. And I think that's a cool thing to jump off of. Where does Hangman go from here? I think there's more to do with Hangman now, where he goes if he just won. And that's coming from someone who thought Hangman was going to win. So it's cool. I liked the match though.
It is cool.
I didn't think it was the match of the night, but I liked the match.
I did too. And I know there's a lot of people who feel some type of way about Hangman no longer being the champ. You know, there was as I mentioned earlier, that 2-year storyline to get him here.
Yeah.
You know, and Avery mentioned it earlier. He apparently is the second shortest title reign after Jericho.
Oh, wow.
So like, that's kind of crazy to think about in such a young company. But also I feel like on the same token, it couldn't not be Punk, I guess.
Like if not Punk, who else?
Yeah, like at this point, he's their top star.
Yeah.
You know, they have other stars that they can build to that point, but CM Punk's the guy. So 100%. It seems like the right move. And, you know, he's only going to be here so much longer. So let him have the title belt for a little while and then build the next AEW champion star, you know? And I think there's going to be some great matches and some great storylines. And I also agree with you. I think the character work that will come out of this for Paige will be great. You know, and he has a lot left in the tank. So I don't think this is the last time and he'll be champion. I think he'll be a 2-time. And I also think that it's the right moment for Punk right now.
It's not like Punk's going to be wrestling for another 10 years. Like he's
right. I just feel like it's the right call when he's still this good and believable. If we were to get another year plus down the line,
Who knows?
I don't know. I feel like the iron was hot here. So
because the person who beats Punk
is
also,
May.
if Punk turns heel at some stage, can we have that? Because
I'm ready for that. I would love a Punk heel turn run.
I love Punk.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I have enjoyed CM Punk and his mentality right now. It's very different than what we're used to.
It's very real.
Like, it's very real, and I love that.
But like straight edge society Punk is my favorite thing in the world. When he was like Jesus.
Yeah, but he's so good.
Yeah, it was the best thing in the world. Like he had like, oh, I love that. I love Punk is a great heel, and we haven't seen Punk as a heel. Man, even when he was actively wrestling in WWE, that last little bit, he was a face for quite a while. For at least the last year of his WWE run, he was a face, was he not? Like, I believe.
Yeah.
So one day it will happen. It will get to a spot.
One day it'll happen, and I feel like it'll be good.
You know, we're seeing a lot of people that have come back and they've all had all this glory, like Bryan and Edge, and now they've both had heel runs. Well, Edge is now a heel. Like, it's not like it's impossible for these people that are so loved to turn heel. If you want to do it, you can do it.
You can do it.
You can do it. But Punk is now this is a weird sentence. CM Punk is the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. What the fuck?
Not a sentence I thought I would ever say out loud.
Not a sentence anybody thought they would say out loud. It's just, it's insane the time we live in with professional wrestling everywhere. Just, you know, like what you like and whatever it may be. It's just across the board. Like, you look on the other side of things, Cody Rhodes is probably going to main event a WWE pay-per-view this coming week.
Also not a thing I thought I would say out loud.
Like, it's just like the opposite side of things. Like, you got CM Punk over here, and Cody Rhodes is, I'll say it out loud,
back with WWE and main eventing.
He is the top babyface in WWE.
What?
Would you say that? I would assume you would say that.
Roman's
the top heel.
Whatever you say, yes.
And Cody Rhodes is the top.
Watch, so.
Well, I don't watch every week either, but just since WrestleMania, there's been no one more sensitive. They have countdowns dedicated in an episode of Raw to when Cody's going to come out. And CM Punk is the AEW World Heavyweight Champion.
2022 is weird.
Hey, but it's pretty cool to say just whatever you're liking, go and enjoy it, because it's sprinkled everywhere at the moment. It's sprinkled everywhere, and that's cool. That's a good thing.
It is cool, and it is a good thing.
I like it.
And I like it too. And I'm very, you know what it did do though? I watched, the ending last few matches this morning, and it did make me excited to see where they're going.
Yes.
Like on Wednesday. Like, what are we going to set up here?
In LA, baby, by the way.
I know.
We love it. They haven't done a lot of shows on the West Coast, have they?
No.
No, not a lot.
Not many, no. Mostly Vegas, really.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's technically the West Coast, isn't it?
Well, I guess, yeah.
But like LA, they haven't done LA shows.
No, not many California stuff, no.
Yeah. And that's, LA's a hot town. LA's always a hot town for wrestling.
Always a good town. Always a good time. It's going to be very interesting.
But listen, for all this, I know Queen, especially on her opinion of stuff, you didn't love this show. But I think the standard for AEW shows is so high. It's like when takeovers were just like pumping out, and we're like, when we had the few takeovers that weren't quite here and they were just here, and we're like,
yeah.
That's how I felt with Double or Nothing.
Yeah, it was definitely my least favorite.
And it was
of the Double or Nothing.
Way too long.
It was way too long. Some things matches. Didn't like. They didn't hit the way they were supposed to. Then there were some moments that were like, wow, this is amazing. And I feel like they would have been even more so if some things were taken out and the flow of it was better. I'm not used to seeing that long of an AEW pay-per-view and not liking it. So that felt kind of weird.
Strong words there.
Yeah, strong words, but I can't. I gotta spit facts. Also, why aren't we defending the Owen belts? I forgot to say this before. Why aren't we defending them?
They look good.
They look great. They're so cool.
They're an homage to the old Stampede wrestling.
I know, so fun.
That's
so sad.
It fit the thing. But yeah, why can't they be titles that you just have now?
Yeah, it's like a trope. Like, okay,
but like fight for it, bitch.
Fight for it or something.
Let
I don't
Ruby
know.
Soho win it. Whatever. But listen, Britt's great. But Britt,
I know.
Girl, step aside for 5 seconds. Not that it's her fault. I mean, I'm sure you're not going to be like, I don't want to win this match if someone says you're going to win. But like, also, like, girl, you know, just you can still be there because you know, AEW don't really do this that well on Dynamite and stuff, but you can have multiple women's feuds going at once.
Yep, you can.
But we'll be back to one match on Dynamite, so that'll appease us, right?
Maybe.
At the 9:30 segment.
Yeah, at the 9:30 slot. Yeah, I know.
Pretty dead spot in the show, to be completely honest with you.
Oish. Well,
but whatever. Hey,
we'll see.
We didn't get to $200, but we did get to 150. Right. So we cannot fault anybody. Thank you so much for donating. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you, all of that. We love it. Don't think just because we didn't get to 200 that I'm mad. I'm not at all. Trust me, I don't have to do a Brie Bella stream. But hey, you still got about 2 minutes until we roll out of here and we raid someone. So if we get to 200, we just can't thank you enough for being here. This is a 2-hour show. Friggin' hell.
Thank you so much.
Queen has a little one. I didn't think. I was like, oh my god, it'll just be an hour.
All right.
But
it's okay.
But we're here for 2 hours, so thank you for talking AEW with us. I don't know what you're gonna do for the rest of the day. Whether you go watch Raw, whether you go watch other streamers. I'll see who we can raids because we love to do a little raids here of somebody cool. To give them some love from our stream because you've all been great. Whoever's been here, Avery and Alder. Oh, look at this. I know exactly who we're going to raid. Our CFG boys are on at the moment, so we'll raid them. But yeah, we've had more than a good time here tonight. I love talking to Queen, of course. We don't talk as much as we used to because we're just so busy with our lives, you know?
I know. Lives are taking over.
Lives are just so busy. It's just ridiculous. So busy. But yeah.
Thank you, Josh.
No problem. You know me. I'm always down to help out as much as I can. Thanks everyone for being here. We love you all very much. We hope you have a good rest of your day, night, morning, whatever it is, wherever you are. And go give my boys at CFG stream some love because they're great and we love them. And thank you so much for raising $150 for EVERYTOWN. I'll make the donation. I'll put it on Twitter, all of that kind of stuff. And we'll do more stuff like this. We need to do more chats, me and Queen, because I mean we can just bullshit about anything. To be completely
can.
We'll bullshit about any topic you want us to bullshit about. So
you got it.
There's that too. All right, guys, we're gonna go raid CFG. Go give them my love, and I love you all very much. Goodbye, everyone.
Thanks, y'all. Bye.